This is the week of August 10th. And on Monday, Western Reserve News was at Perry Township and at Goshen Township. On Tuesday, Western Reserve News was at the Columbiana Board of Education meeting. And on Wednesday, Western Reserve News was at the Lisbon Board of Education meeting. Here we go. On Wednesday, Western Reserve News visited Lisbon Exempted Village Schools, and Superintendent Joseph Sitke reviewed the summer events at Lisbon Exempted.
Just kind of a review of what we've done over the summer staff-wise. We hired a new guidance counselor at the high school. We hired a new band director at the high school. We hired a new preschool teacher at the elementary. Today we hired a new transportation coordinator, and we hired and last month we hired a new director of technology here in the district. We did not replace 3 staff members in Lee Bell, Sue Sterling, both to retirement purposes, and Lindsay Seacrest, intervention specialist at the junior high. That position was absorbed. But through that, our special education department has undergone some changes. Lynn Beach, who was at the junior high, is now at McKinley. Christy Cox, who was at McKinley, is now at the junior high. And Karen Nyardi, who was at the high school, is now at the junior high. So we've done some shuffling at the special ed department. We've also moved some people around. Mac Winery is going to teach 4th grade this year and work with some STEM at the elementary building. And Tiffany Lehman is going from preschool to 2nd grade. So as we are 2 weeks out from starting school, we have just wanted to remind you of all the hires that we've done over the past couple months. Just a few academic supplementals to take care of, but we're ready. And we got key people in good position, young people with a year under their belt that now can look back on last year with any of the trials and tribulations that they might have had as we move forward to this year. So I expect nothing but good things.
Elementary Principal Dan Kamatz tells of changes to getting to school.
As far as I know, and in years past, this is the first time we're not going to have any parents drop off kids on the street. They're going to drop them off in the parking lot at the cafeteria door in the morning.
Okay, so we're going to...
And then they'll be able to go out the back and exit either way.
Okay, so we're going to run cars. We're not running buses through there. We're running cars.
We're going to run cars. We're going to run cars through it. Yep.
We'll see how that goes, and if we like it.
I hope it goes great. I anticipate it going very well. It's going to be a little bit of a change or a learning curve,
Sure.
but we are going to utilize it. And I think it's going to be
or something to let people know.
going to do a number of things. We're going to do an all-call. We're going to have a flyer at open house. We're going to put it on the website. So it'll be a number of different places for us to get that word out, yes.
Thank you.
Athletic Director Jacob Walgate provides a rundown on Lisbon sports.
All right. Athletically, we started with our fall sports. Our teams are up and practicing. Everything's going well there. We had our OHSA mandatory parent meeting last night. Very well attended. Was very happy with the response we got from the parents coming out to show support for the kids and being there and listening to what the coaches had to say. A few changes we have for the upcoming year that affect us. The OHSA has made some changes. In June, they released their initial numbers of the divisions for all sports. They have since pulled that, and they are now reshuffling everything. So we do not know what division we would be in for football and volleyball for the fall sports, because we're the smaller divisions. There's less in cross country and golf, so we know where we'll stand there. So we're waiting for those new numbers to come out. They were to be released yesterday. Since I'm telling you this, they obviously were not. Now they're scheduled to be released Friday. So we are looking forward to seeing those. What they said they were doing was taking out community school students and STEM school students from the count because they put them in. Now they say they're taking them out. Now the latest rumor I've heard is they were going back to what they did last year. Just where the divisions were last year, plugging in your new numbers. If that sticks by Friday, I'm not sure, but we're anxiously looking forward to that to see where our volleyball and football team will be placed. ITCL changes, just like in the spring, we'll be competing in 3 tiers. We're with Columbiana, Latonia, Southern, and Wellsville, so those are the 4 teams that we'll see more on our schedules, and then we'll have a one-time meeting with the other schools. Football change. TCC had a light project where they were installing lights at their football field through grant money. That stalled, so our game that was scheduled for Thursday, August 27th, has now been moved to Saturday, August 29th, and we are playing at Dover's Crater Stadium. They say it's a beautiful stadium. It's turf field. Our kids are excited about that, but the change in date is all that we have the real important there. So we're now playing on Saturday. And the last thing athletically is our athletic trainer. River Valley has decided to no longer partner with us, as well as Southern Local. They have pulled their trainers. From the response I got from them, it was more of a financial thing, saying the travel to our 2 schools is outliers compared to Wellsville, Beaver Local, and East Liverpool. But they went on to say they're not sure they're going to last at those 3 schools throughout the year. They think they're just cutting the program altogether. I've been on the phone working with people. We do have a tentative agreement in place for football and volleyball and cross country, all the fall sports. So we're working on getting that finalized so we're ready to go at the start of the season.
At the Monday Goshen Township meeting, Goshen Fire Chief Derek Day gives fire and EMS stats. And also, he comments about the recent accidents on Route 62 and at the 45-165 intersection.
Derek. All right. The fire department for July, we ran 40 calls, 5 were fire, and there were minor situations, which is a good thing for a change. On the EMS side, we had 35 runs, 16 in Goshen, 14 in Butler, and other calls were 5. My important notes for tonight, due to the unfortunate events of social media, I'm getting all kinds of phone calls from the wreck that we had last Thursday. Everybody's calling me complaining about the 4-way stop sign up here. And realistically, that call wasn't anywhere close to the 4-way stop sign. So I'd just like to clarify that so you guys understand it wasn't due to the fact of the stop sign being intact. It was realistically due to inattentive driving, in my opinion. I don't have it on my note page, but we've unfortunately ran about 4 or 5 pretty critical accidents in the last week and a half. And the cooperation from the Police Chief's Department and Smith Township has been fantastic. So we couldn't get what we need to get done without the help of those guys. So, and our situation we had on 62 was very chaotic from the get-go. And luckily we had enough law enforcement there to keep everything under control.
Goshen Chief of Police adds his consideration of the 45-165 accident and of the Route 62 accident. And he also gets trustee approval to promote one of his patrolmen.
For the month of July, we had a total of 449 events, relatively quiet other than the crashes. On the 45 and 165, we've only had 1 crash there. So, and I think we've only maybe issued 1 or 2 tickets. So, for the problem that everybody thought it was going to be, so far it hasn't. So hopefully that continues. But it seems to be working. Everybody stopped. I sit up there. BOC sits out there, takes their lunch, and tries to see who's going to wreck. But we haven't had any yet, so. I need the trustees to approve, it's that time again, for our Mahoning County, Trumbull County Local Government Mutual Aid contract. It's just simple, it's just a mutual aid agreement that we've had before. I think it's almost every township in the county, as well as Trumbull for mutual aid, and that way we need them, they come, we need them, or if they need us, we go. And the last thing that I have is, I ain't going to say nothing bad about it. Move Detective Reagan up to the position of corporal, starting be on his pay at $16.90. Kevin has been detective, and this weekend we had an incident where he got to show that he's ready to be a supervisor. So request that he be moved up to corporal with Lieutenant Brett leaving. That does leave a position for a supervisor, and I feel Kevin can step in and do that.
I'll make a motion that we move Officer Reagan to corporal's position.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, Mr. Heineman.
Yes.
Mr. Beeson.
Yes.
Mr. McCracken.
Yes.
An electrical recycling drive is coming up in Goshen Township.
Paul?
All I have is coming up in a few weeks, September 19th is our big recycling day of the year, Customer Appreciation Day, and we have free refreshments. It'll be a scrap tire drive and electronics drive. The thing goes from 9 to 3. The electronics drive just goes from 9 a.m. to noon. But prices are pretty much the same as they were last year, except on electronics or TVs, $45. So there's a bargain. And everything else will be free as far as electronics go.
And here's the Perry Township Fire and EMS report.
Okay. Bill? Assistant Chief Filipenza. Bruce couldn't make it. He's still at work. I do have the fire reports for the calls for July. There was a total of 16. We had 6 medical, 2 MVAs, 1 fire other, smoke or burning complaint, 6 assistant calls, and 1 false alarm. Okay.
Problems with dirt biking in Perry Township.
I'm Mary Patterson, and I live on West Pigeon Road as well. I have a different concern than John does. We have a young man on Bethel Drive across the road from us who has propensity to drive a dirt bike. His grandfather is Jerry Byling, and his grandson, goes around his lot. Then he comes out onto Bethel, and while he's on Bethel, he makes a turn at Bethel, goes back, does wheelies, does many things, hours on end.
Have you called the police department?
Yes.
And they have been out or haven't been out?
They've gone by. I've seen them myself going by, but I guess having to catch them in the action, I'm concerned with the noise of having a dirt bike, which is not legal, street legal, or road legal for that matter, and they're riding it at leisure. It's a leisure thing, and they like speed. They love this thing. They drive around their yard for hours. I think it's a nuisance. I think that when they get to the Bethel Drive Road and they're driving it down to Pigeon and then turn around, that's where the illegality comes in. It's a dirt bike. It has no license.
If it has no license and no lights or anything on it, it's illegal.
At the Tuesday Columbiana Board of Education meeting, Columbiana academics are on the up and up.
Our district has scored advance in the 3rd grade. I just think that you look at the state average and where we are. Mrs. Sharshan and her 3rd grade staff did a tremendous job this year. Very, very pleased with our results in 3rd grade. If you look at it, we have almost 80% of our kids, 81% of our kids are actually accelerated or advanced. That's tremendous. I just, you have to take our hats off to our parents, our students. They're all working hard, our staff, and our administrative team. Because I know Mrs. Sharshan works and integrates this stuff with our other high school and middle school staff. And, we really worked well together trying to make sure we're getting our kids ready for these exams. And I know that this is, with the new law in retention in 3rd grade, it's just as critical for us to do our absolute to get those kids where they need to be. And we've been very, very pleased with the results.
Upcoming Columbiana band and sports events.
Athletics, all our fall athletic activities they're out on the field getting ready. Band, Mr. Miller, looks like he's doing a great job. The band's looking great, and we're looking forward to a great year. So far, just in August and September, we have Matthews Band Night. That'll be August the 29th. Canfield Fair, band will be performing September 3rd at 11. Street Fair, of course, September 10th. And the Beaver Local Band Show will be September 12th. Also, the cheerleaders will be performing at the Canfield Fair on September 2nd at 11. And that concludes mine.
And the Columbiana School Board President gives his report.
I'll be quick, being that we've gone quick. Just a couple of comments. Number one, I'd like to say I think it's awesome that we're very fiscally intelligent and bought all kind of tremendous enhancements, sound projection, without lavishly expending, which is why we're in the good financial position that we are. I think the buildings look great. Don took me on a tour a week or so ago. It's the best they've looked in a long time. Last comment, is our reading proficiency is obviously top-notch, as all of our scores have been, and I think it's also great to mention the AP students that keep banging out those fives are very impressive. So academically, we're still just going full bore, and our facilities look great. They're being maintained great. Last thing I'd like to mention, welcome Kathy Davies to the first board meeting that I'm here at.